subcommittee meeting to order.
Brian, you gotta leave that open. It's
Oh, you leave it open?
Yeah.
Are you done, Mr. McDonald? Can I keep going now?
Yeah, start with him.
Looks like our county engineer has an agenda here, so I'll let Dean get started.
I do. Since we last met in May, well, we didn't have our meeting in May. No, we didn't. Item number one is our 2018 New York State Aviation Capital Grant, the Avgas Aviation Gas Fuel Farm Replacement Project. The county has recently fully executed the design and construction administration contract between the county and Passero Associates. Passero has now begun the preliminary planning and design work for this New York State Aviation Capital Grant funded project, which New York State funding will cover approximately 60 to 70% of the total project cost. I think it'll probably be a 2021 capital project. We're still waiting for some of the costs to drop on some of these fuel farm projects. They've still been up there pretty good, so we're trying to give it a little time. Maybe it'll settle out a little bit. And COVID probably hasn't helped that situation either. So we're not in any big hurry to get that. But I think we have about 4 years to do those projects under the state grants. So.
Well, we have pretty good cost estimates to budget for.
Yeah. That's part of Passero's work as well. So, yeah. Item number two, our federal fiscal year 2020, the year we're in now, federal AIP grant awards. As of mid-July, the county has received notice that one of the three potential FFY 2020 capital project grants has been announced on the FAA AIP grants website. That project is the FAA required pavement management program, which we have a draft professional services agreement with Passero Associates prepared and approved by both the FAA and the county board of supervisors. We passed a resolution, I think it was last month, to execute that grant. Once this grant is actually offered to the county, it will be executed along with the PNP agreement with Passero Associates. We believe that the remaining two anticipated FAA FFY 2020 projects, the North Apron reconstruction, construction phase, and the wildlife inadvertent entry fence and nav aids improvements, construction phase project, are also slated to be announced soon as official FFY 2020 grant awards. However, as of mid-July, as of yesterday when I checked, neither have been officially announced by the FAA. We do have FAA approved responsible low construction bids in hand for both of those projects, as well as FAA and county approved construction inspection agreements with Passero for both of those projects. So as soon as we get the grants offered to us and execute them, we will go ahead with executing the construction contracts and the design or the construction inspection agreement with Passero for both of those projects.
And will we know at that time if the CARES money is going to cover a local share of it?
Well, any grant that is offered this year is 100%.
Oh, okay. It automatically is. So if FAA approves it, then we're in it. Okay.
And I spoke to Ralph Gatto from the ADO, the New York ADO office, and he said all of our grants have left New York City, headed to Washington.
Okay.
Normally, he said that means that they will be issued this year.
Right.
He says, but Dean, I can never give you 100%.
This is not a normal year?
100% guarantee that it will be. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. I think in the end, we'd be able to do the fence project this fall and even into the winter, but the North Apron reconstruction, which is basically a paving project, would probably have to be done in the spring.
Okay.
So that's where we're going with those projects. And even if we do that project in the spring, if we get the grant offered to us this year, it'll still be 100%
be there.
Yeah, once you sign that grant, that's what you get. So that's all good news, I think. Item three, our deer removal project. Loom Acres Wildlife Management has continued to periodically hunt and successfully remove deer from our airport property, with the bait station reportedly attributing to an increased success rate. In addition, a number of wild turkey have also been taken and removed from the immediate vicinity of the airport. We are also still working with Loom Acres on a federal migratory bird depredation permit for our airport, which would allow legal take and removal of Canadian geese and prevalent species of ducks. There's nobody here really, but you guys. Here was one of our passengers that missed his plane to Chicago to see the bears. So he's watching the airplane. I should get,
That's all right.
but it's It was a bear we caught on.
Oh, bear.
So he's looking up at his plane going to Chicago to see the Bears play. He missed it, so.
Who took the picture?
It was a game cam we have up there.
Hey, Ron, put it up to the camera so everyone else can.
Oh, okay. So everybody can see?
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, but can you see it?
Can you guys see the bear?
Yeah,
Yeah.
where was that bear exactly?
He was down on the south end, like in the, near the swamp on the east, southeast corner there. He got through, we think, underneath the fence. Actually, he could have come in the north end too, but we think he might have gotten in underneath the fence. So the fence project will take care of all of those issues. I
They've
think.
been busy this year.
Yes, they have. So,
Because it's so dry, they haven't had the food where they normally do, I guess.
I think he might have been attracted by the bait station that
That could
that
be
could be
too.
too, right? So, but he hasn't been on the property from what we understand, so that's good.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, item number 4 is something that I thought Rob was gonna be here too.
He's on. He's on virtually. Rob Fitzsimmons.
Yes.
Yep.
The Parker O'Malley Air Museum, you were gonna do a little study on that. I think Chris Watts was gonna do it, check out their, agreements and to see if we could, get some revenue out of them. Do you have any, you guys had time?
No, I'll follow up with Chris Watson, see what he was doing with that. I know he had it on his list.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. I know he's been busy with a lot of other stuff, so. Okay. Item number 5, our 2020 New York State Aviation Capital Grant Solicitation. In late February, we received notification from DOT that applications will now be accepted from eligible local airport sponsors for project funding for various types of capital airport improvements. Applications were due to DOT by June 15th, 2020 for up to $1.5 million per project, which was the maximum award amount. In New York State Aviation Capital Grant Funds, with each sponsor being able to submit a maximum of 2 project applications. On or about June 1st, we submitted an application to DOT for approximately $1.5 million for funding of the renovation, rehabilitation of major portions of the original airport hangar building, including a potential replacement or upgrades to the pilot's lounge facility. They eventually did extend the date for those applications out into, I think they're due like first week in August now. But we got ours in June 1st, so we're hoping that they'll maybe get a quick turnaround on the review of those applications, and maybe we'll hear something back by the end of the year. But with state funding, this year you're never going to know.
No.
So could be a year and a half before we hear. But we felt that was the best project to submit at this time for DOT funding. Item 6 is our COVID-19 CARES Act Airport Operations and Maintenance Funding Grant. A second aviation-related funding component of the federal COVID-19 CARES Act was a provision to assist almost all public airports across the United States with some grant funding that would help airport owners to cover some airport facility operations and maintenance expenses during the COVID pandemic. In May, we prepared and submitted an application for this CARES Act funding and received notice in June that our application for $69,000 in federal funding was approved. This grant offer was accepted by the county. Matt signed it, and we are preparing an initial reimbursement request now, working with Brian's office for putting together the reimbursement invoices and things like that. And federal money does not normally cover operations and maintenance expenses, so it's a good thing that we're going to get that for this year. So,
Great.
yeah. And it'll cover payroll, it'll cover insurance, it'll cover contractual stuff that Brian has. So it's good funding to get.
Good.
So.
Great.
The last item I have was the New York State ENG installation of their new underground distribution line over the last month as a part of their large power distribution system upgrade project in towns of Stockport and Ghent. NYSEG and their subcontractor team successfully relocated and installed a new underground electric distribution line and 4 conduits across the county airport's runway 3 runway safety area. NYSEG's contracting team did an excellent job in installing this new line and working with both County Department of Public Works Facilities and Engineering divisions and Bridgemore Aviation in the coordination of all aspects of what was a very challenging project. Their old line, which had been de-energized for some reason, ran underground right off the end of the south end of the runway, and they've relocated it now. It's about 500 feet south of the end of the runway, so it's way out of the way. And if we ever did happen to move the runway or extend the runway down at that end, we're not going to be bothered by old underground electric line. And so it's way out of the way now. So that was a good project as well. And that's about all I have. Been busy, as usual.
Very good. Any questions on any of that? Okay. Brian, do you have anything?
The only thing I really have to report, we just, this fence that Dean talked about can't come sooner. We're constantly up there replacing it. It's hard to say if it's jet wash blowing it down or if it's an animal. It's nonstop. But like I said, usually once every 2 weeks we go up there and replace a section. So like I said, that's going to be a welcoming project that comes. I'm just going through looking at certain projects and how we can use this grant money and what we can upgrade the facility without coming up with our own money, so to speak. But the airport does take a lot of money. There's a lot of moving parts, so I'm finally getting the hang of how much we're actually going through. I'm going to meet with Rich eventually, and we're going to, have to outline and restructure the budget a little bit because we're falling short a lot. There's certain services that have to be done, and it's never factored, so I'm in the, that'll be done this year. So, but other than that, that's pretty much where we stand. So just regular routine maintenance, just keeping up with all the lights and the regular ground maintenance.
The airport remaining busy?
Yeah.
Yeah, from what I read, a lot of the folks that used to fly, I should say a lot, but folks that used to fly first class, business class, turning to Richmore's type of
Private
biz
planes,
jet,
yeah.
Smaller business jets. They don't have to go to a big airport. They
Right,
don't have to do any of that kind of stuff. So I think that's been a good thing for them. Maybe continue that way
Right.
as we get into the future.
Yeah, every time I talk, there's more and more large jets coming in there. That's what he's telling me.
Yeah.
So
Good. Yeah.
that's why the fuel farms are actually a really good idea to upgrade, because that's where a lot of the money's being spent.
To generate sales tax.
Yeah, it's a big facility, it's 350 acres, it's 3 big buildings, there's miles and miles of electrical stuff and navigational aids, and, it's gonna get to the point someday where, we're almost gonna have to have somebody full-time there, just like you do in some of these buildings, It's a lot of work up there. You can keep the thing in good shape.
Yep.
So, Brian, the north end there, that's still plastic snow fence, right?
Correct.
Okay.
That's what I believe was approved by the FAA through Passrow. So
And that section will be replaced by a chain link fence with a barbed wire on top. With it'll probably have lights on it. With this,
Because with the barbed wire, that can only be what, 6 feet?
yep,
Okay.
but the barbed wire extends out though. So
yeah, it's on an angle.
it's on an angle.
Rob, were you gonna give a report on where we were with CN Productions next door?
I can, but if we're going to do that, we should enter executive session to discuss litigation.
Thought we were gonna hold off on that for a while.
I think, well, I'll let Rob.
Yeah, okay.
We haven't taken any action. I can say that in open session. So it's up to the airport committee and the board of supervisors to make a determination if there's going to be any action or continued inaction.
And again, it was one of the things that I thought we were gonna put a pause on due to our finances at the moment. I thought when we looked at capital projects for this year.
and that's fine if that's the direction the committee wants to go.
We can revisit that in the finance committee there, the budget committee, but
Yeah, I think we wanted to talk with, have a conference call with Passero to just see where we are with the FAA reimbursement.
yeah.
Is there anything we have to do prior to going ahead and making a decision to do something there?
Right, okay.
Appraisals will run out eventually.
Yeah, I know we were gonna find out how long the appraisals were gonna last.
So I think we still wanted to have that. We got past the initial part of COVID.
Okay. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
follow up.
Dean, if we could, I know it's difficult, but if we could find out maybe how much longer leeway we have on those trees too, and what their opinion is on that.
Yeah. Yep. Agree.
All right, so maybe we'll just hold off on that then.
Yeah, let's do the conference call with Passero. I know, Mike, you're on that, and Dean's on that. And then we'll have something maybe to report at the next airport subcommittee meeting.
Okay.
All right. Anything else going on?
No.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second, Sterling.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank
All
you,
right.
gentlemen.
See you guys at Public Works, whoever's,